Welcome to Switched at Birth, where two infants are switched at birth and discharged to the wrong family. From 1995 to 2008, there was only 8 occurrences in the United States that were documented of babies being switched at birth. It is estimated that out of the 4 million total births, about 28,000 babies get switched every year, but not necessarily permanently. There's not very many statistics of babies being switched at birth. This data is unavailable because it's unknown if it's permanent or temporary, and there are no regulations put in place saying that hospitals need to record this data. It is also difficult because if the infants are mixed up or switched for a permanent amount of time, they wouldn't know necessarily. They're not going to go to a family and be like, hey, we switched your baby, gave your baby a bath instead of the other baby.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys some real experiences that happened in the past with the Sentinel event. First one I call no, not that one. All right, crib shuffle. Crib shuffle. It happened when 2 baby boys were born at the Come By Chance Hospital in the 1960s. Unknowingly were swapped and taken home to the wrong family. In 2014, both men happened to be working at the same construction site when Avery's wife saw the other man, Hines, at the site and immediately thought he looked just like her husband's brother. Then they found out that both of the men had the same birthday and were born at the same hospital. After taking DNA tests, it was confirmed that the men belonged to the other's family. They lived out their lives for over 50 years unknowingly with those wrong families. Unfortunately, once they figured out what had happened, both of the men's parents were already deceased. Avery and Hines will never have the chance to meet their biological parents. The Come By Chance Hospital was torn down in the 1980s, leaving them with no closure or answers to their tragic story, and how the hospital managed to let this Sentinel event happen in the first place. I have one more story. Nope, I have a question first. First question is, if your baby was switched at the hospital and the hospital figured out years later that you received the wrong child, would you want them to contact you and tell you that you have been raising the wrong child the whole time? All right, for my second story, called Circumcision Swap. It's a more recent incident that happened on April 12, 1998, when 2 newborns were placed in the wrong bassinets after circumcision procedures. One mother, 23-year-old LaDonna Harris, took home the wrong baby, while the other mother, still in the hospital, noticed the error the next day, remembering a different skin pigment on her baby than before. Harris reported her suspicions to the hospital authorities, who then checked the baby's wristband and discovered it was the wrong baby. The discharged baby was taken back to the hospital, and the mother reporting the error took home her actual child. Harris refused to take home the baby the hospital said was her child, saying that she couldn't be sure the child was hers. She stated the baby was ugly and it couldn't be her own. She left the baby at the hospital for almost 2 weeks before she gave in and agreed that he was hers. Harris agreed to take the child home only after DNA testing proved conclusively that the 2 mothers had the right babies. The baby mix-up apparently was the first at that hospital, which handles about 4,000 births a year, and hospital leaders do admit the mix-up occurred, and they say that preliminary investigation traces the error to failure to properly check the identification bands on the baby that was discharged to Harris.
Hey, these are the causes of the error. The switch mainly happens in hospital maternity wards when babies are being bathed and are given medical attention such as circumcision or when babies code. Then they are not returned to their biological mother. There are times when medical staff don't follow the proper protocols, and on the other hand, mothers are exhausted after giving birth, so they may not notice a change. This is a picture of a baby getting a bath in a little maternity ward. Despite the system set in place, mistakes happen. Newborn wrists and ankles are so tiny, the bands can slip off or be removed way easier than you'd think. Sometimes parents will even remove the bands because they feel it bothers the baby. These errors are typically genuine and not malicious. Question number 2. How do you think it would affect you if you spent 2 days nursing your newborn baby, experiencing skin-to-skin contact, bonding, only to have your nurse come in later apologetically handing you your actual baby and taking the other away?
I will be talking about preventative ways to stop babies being switched. Hospitals all follow some type of protocol designed to prevent mix-ups and keep both parents and newborns safe. This protocol uses identification bands that match the mother to the newborn as well as one support partner. From the moment the baby is born, the bracelet is placed on the baby's ankle or wrist. Hospitals also do footprints on babies, and they originally started the practice of taking newborns' footprints back in the 1960s as a way to properly identify the baby. This was done to avoid accidentally switching babies at birth and also to help with kidnapping prevention. Just like fingerprints, every human's footprint is unique. What other preventative actions could be performed to ensure babies go to the correct family?